Hey guys, welcome back to Changing with the Tides. On today's episode, we're going to have on a very special guest and we're going to discuss all things related to the eighth and final Beatitude. I can't believe it's the last one, so I hope you enjoy it. It's my lucky day. It's my lucky day. It's my lucky day. So we're going to start the video off with what is the eighth Beatitude. And the eighth Beatitude is, "Blessed are they that have been persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Now I have on a very special guest, as you can tell, and I've spoken about on Changing with the Tides how one of the best ways to feel closer to God is by surrounding yourself with people who are active in their faith. Now I'd like to welcome one of my former coworkers, a dear friend who is very faith-filled, and welcome Nancy. How are you?
Well, hi Lex. How are you?
Good. I'm great. Happy Friday. It's so nice out. I love the sunshine. Okay, so you ready to get started on our questions?
Okay,
so question or talking point number 1. Let's start simple. Which Beatitude is the most important to you?
Okay. Probably the one that I go to first is the one, blessed are those who mourn.
Ooh,
because I have had an amount of mourning in my adult life, and found that the people in my faith community, my family, my friend circle really rallied around me to comfort me, which is exactly what the Beatitude says. And I lived through that. I lived that, and I know how important that is.
I love that, Nance. That's great. Great answer. Okay, and it's great that you had your people in your life to surround yourself with when you were struggling through those rough times and like mourning the loss of people. So I'm the same way. I have many people who I'm able to turn to and like help me through different difficult times. So very appreciative of that answer. So question number 2, what's the best way to live out any or all of the Beatitudes?
I think that the Beatitudes are great guideposts for us as we go through life.
Yeah.
The commandments are the commandments, but the Beatitudes are a little more than that. Mm-hmm. And I think they just give you a good guide to go through life and go that little bit of extra.
Yes, exactly. Like you said, they're not quite the commandments, but they're going that extra mile. That was a great answer. So, question number 3. What is your take on the eighth and final Beatitude?
Okay, the eighth and final Beatitude, which, I don't know, I really thought about this. I have never had the experience, thankfully, of having anyone give me a problem or give me trouble about my faith. Mm-hmm. And I think that has kind of led me to believe that what you have to really be careful not to do is to take that for granted, because there are a lot of people through history and even today who do suffer for their faith.
Exactly.
And if you have not had that experience, I think you're very fortunate, you're very blessed, and you have to stop and think that and realize that you've been blessed not to have to go through that. And you have never to take your faith or your experience of your faith for granted.
I personally love that answer. Great job.
Thank you.
Doing great so far. Okay, so your answer to that question kind of leads into the next question, which is, was there ever a point in your life where you lost your faith and your relationship with God? If so, how did you overcome that?
Well, I think it's fairly common in your late teens or in your 20s where you might drift a little bit. You don't lose your faith per se, but maybe the practice of your faith gets a little lukewarm. So I found that once my children came to me, that my faith became even stronger, because then I had the responsibility of passing it on to them. And I also found that in the classroom as a teacher, the great responsibility of passing that on to the children that I taught, so that they would have their faith to take them through life the way mine has taken me through life.
Yes, that is awesome. It's so nice to be able, because you're right, when you are a teenager and you're kind of entering college and going through college, you kind of like, it's almost like you don't lose your faith, but you kind of do in a way. You kind of like turn away from it and kind of go another direction, and like you're figuring out who you are and like what you're almost like not what your purpose is in life, but like a little bit like similar to that. And it's I have found I mean, I never really went through that, but I know a lot of people who have, and they usually almost always find their way back to God and like our faith, and it's very special to see when they do get back there. So that was a great answer. So last question, and it's going along similar lines of the last question, but going along similar lines, was there ever a point in your life where you were tormented or tortured for being Catholic?
No, I can't say that there ever was. I grew up in a very strong Catholic family, went all through Catholic school, spent my teaching career in Catholic school, and I'm so fortunate to be able to say that I never did experience anything negative in regards to my faith.
I'm very similar to your story. Like I grew up in a very Catholic family, and I went most of my life to Catholic school. There was a period like middle school and a little bit before middle school that I wasn't in Catholic school, but honestly, like I got back to Catholic school for high school and like loved it, and I'm very appreciative of my Catholic upbringing. So well, thank you for coming on today, Nancy. It was great having you here. I miss seeing you in school.
And thank you for the inspiration that you are to me.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. I really like, it's nice to have people I'm able to surround myself with who help me through different things, and you're definitely one of them.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Right back to you too.
Oh, thanks.
It's my lucky